तो इस साल जो मैंने देखा है, मैंने पहली बार सोशल मीडिया की पावर देखी है और मैंने देखा है कि कैसे सारा विश्व एक साथ आके हम सब सुशांत के लिए हम लोगों ने जिस तरह से फाइट किया और उसमें सफलता पाई है, इससे मुझे बहुत उम्मीदें हो गई है। मुझे बहुत आशाएं हैं कि हम सब मिलके इस तरह से जो भी हम न्यू इंडिया के लिए रिफॉर्म्स चाहते हैं उसके लिए आवाज उठा सकते हैं। और इसलिए इस महीने मैंने सोशल मीडिया पे फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम आई हैव कम ऑन ट्विटर.
Actor Kangana Ranaut has been making headlines for the last few weeks, and all of it has got to do with her tweets, her video messages on Twitter. I know you'd find it hard to believe that Kangana has actually only joined Twitter officially a few weeks back on August 21st. Might not seem that way because it feels like for the longest time she's been making headlines. So in this video, we're going to be giving you a deep dive, a primer into Kangana's Twitter journey. She's joined on August 21st at the time when there was an entire controversy playing out over Sushant Singh Rajput's death. In fact, when she joined Twitter, several of her fans took to the site and the hashtag Bollywood Queen on Twitter also trended for several hours. She then put out a video message to explain why she chose to join Twitter. She said that she had a change of heart because she realized the power of social media. She also said that there were a lot of unsubstantiated, misleading reports about her. She wanted to set the record straight on that. And she also said that she wanted to use Twitter as a space to create reforms, and thereby started her Twitter journey, which has been controversial to say the least. And since then, Kangana Ranaut has brought her A game on Twitter, putting out some very, very controversial tweets, not shying away from targeting the most powerful in Bollywood, not shying away from hitting out or reacting sharply to anything. Some of it has been very controversial. She's been hailed as someone who's been unabashed in her criticism or in her opinions, and some have said that maybe she's gone a bit too far. She's taken it too far in some of her tweets. But let me just explain for you that yes, while Kangana joined Twitter only in August, for the longest time she had a presence on social media, and this was on Twitter with in fact the profile name Kangana Team. In some of these tweets which was posted by on this profile, it was by Kangana, and those were signed off as KR, so that meant that she had personally tweeted there. In other tweets, it was done by her team or by her sister Rangoli Chandel, who's also her manager. Also keep in mind that the timing of Kangana actually joining Twitter is to the same point when Rangoli's Twitter account was suspended because she had put out some very provocative tweets. Twitter had suspended her account, after which it seems Kangana decided to in fact take the plunge into social media, considering Rangoli was no longer there to put out her opinion. Let me just for a brief moment explain to you who Rangoli Chandel is also. As I mentioned, she's Kangana Ranaut's sister. In fact, a few years ago, this was in 2015, Kangana fired her entire PR team and placed Rangoli at the helm of affairs. So Rangoli officially took over as her manager. She's really come to the spotlight in the last few years, particularly when the entire episode happened with Hrithik Roshan, where Kangana and Hrithik were in that war of words. Rangoli took to Twitter to defend her sister time and again, and it was literally like a one-woman army where Rangoli went after one person after another, very similar to what we're seeing with Kangana's Twitter account right now. Rangoli was someone who had no experience at all in Bollywood, or for that matter, handling someone's or being someone's manager or being an actress's manager. But she's risen to that occasion, having worked with her sister very, very closely. She is someone who is an acid attack survivor. She was attacked in Dehradun after she rejected a man's advances and his proposal. Rangoli also said that it was at this time that Kangana Ranaut also received death threats and was physically assaulted and was almost beaten to death. Let me take it back to the entire controversy of Kangana's Twitter account and why there's so much buzz and talk about her Twitter activity. So she's been extremely vocal. Kangana in the last few weeks has been extremely vocal in demanding justice for Sushant Singh Rajput. She's put out a lot of video messages about who she believes is to blame. Started off, of course, with nepotism. She took jibes like Bollywood, referring to bullies in Bollywood, Bollywood mafia and whatnot. And that's where she came in for a bit of criticism. Some said that Kangana was being too harsh, that she was putting out only one aspect of what was happening, and that she had proclaimed herself to be the voice of outsiders in Bollywood and creating this image of the industry being a big bad industry. So that is something that she did face some sort of resistance over. That didn't shake her in any way. Kangana continued with her tirade against some of the biggest names in Bollywood. Her latest target has been actress Deepika Padukone over reports that the narco team, which is investigating the drug link in the Sushant Singh Rajput case, have also got WhatsApp chats between Deepika and her manager Karishma over supplying of drugs. So over that, Kangana has also taken a jibe at Deepika, saying "Mal hai kya?" So that's the level to which Kangana has really gone. She's not stopped herself or shied away from attacking anyone in Bollywood, and she says that she's going to continue doing that to expose how there is a ring that's created, a circle, and outsiders find it so very difficult to enter the industry. So we thought we'd also break down how Kangana has tweeted in the last few weeks, essentially a timeline. She's been very, very active with regards to current affairs, from attacking her colleagues in the industry to also attacking the Maharashtra government over the demolition of her office. She referred to the BMC as Babar's army. She tweeted out a picture of Uddhav Thackeray depicting him as Ravan. So all of these tweets did trigger a lot of traction. She's responded to a lot of people on Twitter who've criticized her as well. There was also that very controversial tweet where she put out comparing her office demolition to rape, and that also she got a lot of criticism for. She, however, defended herself to the hilt. If you've noticed, through the entire Twitter timeline that we went through of Kangana Ranaut, she's completely unabashed. She's bold in her opinion. She doesn't shy away from, saying it as it is, and she doesn't believe in mincing her words. So it's very clear that Kangana Ranaut and her Twitter journey is going to remain controversial.